450 volts, lethal level. The man was screaming, "Stop! My heart will fail!" The teacher moved his hand to the button. He was shaking. The scientist, "You must continue." The teacher pressed it. Yale University. 40 ordinary people. None were killers. But 65% delivered lethal shock. Only one word was needed. Continue. Welcome to Echo Tales. Here we tell stories inspired by real psychology experiments. Today's story is one of the most disturbing experiments in history. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And I have a question for you. If an authority figure said, "Continue," would you give electric shocks to a stranger? Think honestly and answer in the comments. And let us know where you're watching from. Stanley Milgram, Yale psychology professor, asked a question. How much will people obey authority? To find the answer, he invited 40 ordinary people to an experiment. The task was simple. Give an electric shock to a student when they answer wrong. The result was shocking. 65% went to lethal shock. This is the Milgram obedience experiment, and it was designed to understand Nazi Germany. 1961 summer. Stanley Milgram placed an ad in the newspaper. Volunteers for memory and learning research. For $1.50 payment. Applicants, ordinary Americans. Teachers, postal workers, engineers, salesmen. Ages 20 to 50. Tom Williams, 34, high school teacher, volunteered. The money was good, and contributing to science. He arrived at Yale. The scientist greeted him. White lab coat, serious, professional. "Mr. Williams, welcome." The experiment was explained. "We're studying the effect of punishment on learning. You'll be the teacher. Another participant will be the student. You'll ask the student questions. When they answer wrong, you'll give an electric shock." Tom, electric shock? Scientist, yes. With each wrong answer, voltage will increase, starting from 15 volts up to 450 volts. Tom received a test shock, 45 volts. Mild but noticeable. Okay, understood. The student arrived. Mr. Wallace, 47, accountant, nice man. Taken to the next room, strapped to a chair, electrodes attached. Tom sat in front of the control panel. 30 buttons. From 15 volts to 450 volts. Last button. XXX danger. Severe shock. Tom didn't know. Mr. Wallace was an actor. There was no shock. But the sounds were real. The experiment began. First question. Blue velvet, book, moon which doesn't fit. Mr. Wallace. Velvet. Wrong. Correct answer, moon. Scientist. Give the shock. Tom pressed 15 volts. Sound from next room. Ow. Tom felt uncomfortable but continued. Second wrong, 30 volts. Third wrong, 45 volts. Hey, that hurts. Fourth wrong, 60 volts. Are you serious? Fifth wrong, 75 volts. Stop! This is really painful. Tom stopped. Looked at the scientist. He seems uncomfortable. Should we stop? Scientist, cold. The experiment requires you to continue. Tom, but he's in pain. Scientist. The student may feel slight discomfort, but there's no permanent damage. Please continue. Tom hesitated. Then, continued. 150 volts. Mr. Wallace shouted. Enough! I want out! Untie me! Tom stood up. Stop! The man wants out. Scientist. No response counts as a wrong answer. Continue. Tom. But I don't want to anymore. Scientist. The experiment requires that you continue. Tom sat down. His hand was shaking. He pressed 165 volts. My heart. I have a heart condition. Tom in shock. Heart condition. We must stop. Scientist. The experiment must continue. Tom. But the man is sick. Scientist. The responsibility is mine. Continue. Tom struggled. Authority. Yale. Scientist. Responsibility. 225 volts. Scream. 255 volts. Groan. 300 volts. Let me go! Enough! Tom was crying but pressing. 315 volts. Mr. Wallace screamed, then silence. Tom. He's not answering. Did something happen? Scientist. No response is a wrong answer. Continue. Tom. But silence. Maybe he fainted. Maybe. Scientist. It's critical that you continue. Tom pressed 330 volts. Silence. 345 volts. No sound. Tom. We should check. Maybe he's dead. Scientist. There is no permanent tissue damage. Continue. Tom reached 360 volts. Panicking. But he pressed. Each button was met with silence. Tom thought, is the man dead? Did I kill him? 435 volts. One before last. Tom. I can't. Please. Scientist. You have no other choice. You must continue. Tom looked at the last button. 450 volts. XXX. Danger. He closed his eyes. He pressed it. Scientist. The experiment is complete. Tom buried his head in his hands. He was crying. The door opened. Mr. Wallace entered. Safe and sound. Smiling. Tom in shock. What? But you, the shocks. Mr. Wallace. There was no shock, Mr. Williams. I'm an actor. The screaming sounds were pre-recorded. Tom. So, I didn't hurt him? Scientist. No. But you didn't know that? And you still went to 450 volts. Tom. Because you told me to. The responsibility was yours. Milgram. Yes. And that was the purpose of the experiment. Obedience to authority. Milgram conducted the same experiment with 40 people. Prediction. Psychologists thought 1% would go to 450 volts. Only a psychopath would do it. Reality. 100% went to 135 volts. 80% went to 285 volts. 65% went to 450 volts. 26 people. These weren't psychopaths. Just ordinary people. Teacher. Postal worker. Engineer. Father. Tom Williams in interview. I'm a good person. But that day, I became a monster. Because someone said continue, and I obeyed. Milgram analyzed, why did people obey? 1. Legitimacy of authority. Yale University. Scientist. White lab coat. They know I don't. 2. Transfer of responsibility. He said, responsibility is mine. That I'm not guilty. 3. Gradual increase. Started at 15 volts. Just a little more. Each time. By 450, it was too late. 4. Social pressure. What if you refuse? You look weak. Disobedient. 5. Desire to believe. They thought Yale wouldn't do something lethal. Milgram. Ordinary people, simply doing their jobs, can become agents of terrible acts. They surrender their conscience to authority. Why was this experiment conducted? Adolf Eichmann's trial. Nazi commander. Responsible for 6 million Jewish deaths. His defense. I was just following orders. The responsibility wasn't mine. The world asked. How could they do it? Were they monsters? Milgram answered. No. They're not monsters. They obey. And anyone can do it. Tom Williams. That day I understood myself. If I'd been in Nazi Germany, I could have done it too. I would have said I was following orders. And that is the most terrifying truth. Today we saw the disturbing story of the Milgram Experiment. 40 ordinary people. 26 gave lethal shocks. Just because an authority said, "Continue." But the most important question, what would you do? If a scientist said, "Continue," would you stop? If authority said, "Responsibility is mine," would you believe it? Would conscience win, or obedience? The answer isn't easy, because 65% continued. Maybe you would have too. Stanley Milgram. Most people, however terrible it may be, will do it if an authority commands. This is the darkest truth of human nature. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe. We share stories about human psychology and social experiments every day. Answer honestly in the comments. Would you have stopped, or would you have gone to 450 volts? Where are you watching from? Write your city. See you in the next story. Echo Tales, real stories, disturbing truths.